It's Monday night, and I am Pam with 44 Marketplace and Creative Finishes by Pam, and tonight we are going to make a cute fall centerpiece using some things that I picked up either at garage sales, thrift stores, dollar stores, something like that. It's an inexpensive centerpiece, and it's a great way to upcycle some things that you may have laying around the house. So we're going to start. These are some of the pumpkins that I've gotten. A lot of times I'll get them on clearance at the end of the season or whatever. These right here are left from last season. I did pick this one up at Hobby Lobby because a lot of people have asked me about the light colored pumpkins, so we're going to kind of mess around with these. And this is a bucket that I picked up. This is going to hold all of our centerpiece, and we're going to do a little something creative because, as you can see, it's very, very shiny. And so we're going to kind of jump on this and see what we can do. All right, so this is our bucket. Now, you may choose something that's a different size or something like that. Totally up to you. I like this size because I can use it either on my screened porch or in the center of my table or something like that. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to age this piece a little bit. All right, so I've done this side so you can see what we're going to do. I like for mine to have an old feel to it. I want it to look like an old rusty bucket. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is, if you follow me very much, you know that I like to use pine cone on a lot of things. And did you guys see my apron? I have my screen turned around correctly this week so you can see what it says. So basically what you do is get a sea sponge. And I like the sea sponges that are kind of huge. And then I cut them up to where I can use them. And what you do is I dip it in my pine cone first. And I start just kind of, you rotate it around because you don't want it to have the same pattern all over. You also want it up on the rim. So I'm going to show you. If you guys have been to my boot camp, you've seen that I like to do things. I use my dog food trays to offload my brush in. But if you'll use a sea sponge, they have kind of an unusual pattern to them. So they don't look so-and-so, you know? So you want to just move it around, make sure you get up on that rim and everything. And it's better to go very light in the beginning than it is to go too heavy and then it doesn't look real. You can always layer in some more. And now the other color that I like to layer in when I do this, I like to layer in collard greens because collard greens kind of gives you that moss effect. So just make sure that you kind of offload. You don't want to put your sponge on there and get too much on at one time. You just want to kind of do a little bit, and you guys can see how we're doing with this. I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see. You want to make sure you go all the way, wrap around the end, make sure you get that rim very, very, very well. I don't know about y'all, but I have fall on the brain already. I love fall. My birthday's in the fall, but I just have always loved fall. The temperature is almost perfect. The leaves are fabulous. All right, so this is where we are so far, and we're going for kind of this. Now, on the other side of this same sponge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the collard greens, and I am going to kind of do the same thing with it, but the collard greens, we're going to go a little bit less, and you just want to kind of move it around. If you notice that your paint gets a little heavy, the fun thing to do is just go back over it with that the side that has the pine cone on it. Now you want to just kind of move it around because you want this bucket to look like it's been sitting outside for days and weeks and months. And it's got all of this nice, mossy rust growing on it. You don't want to look like you just picked it up at a big box store yesterday because somebody, I don't remember who it was, said that Walmart had some really cool containers like this. I did not get a chance to go look, but they usually have a lot of different things. All right, so here we are. We've got our nice rusty bucket. Now, the amount of rust that you choose to put on here is totally up to you. Totally, totally, totally up to you. And I like to always go back in and make sure I get some up here on the rim because most of what is going to be inside here is going to cover up my inside. And so I don't have to worry about that. So now you've got it the way that you want it. You got it all rusty. All right, so we're going to set that aside. Now, I brought a bunch of different pumpkins so that you guys can see. I am one of these pumpkin hoarders. If I see pumpkins at a yard sale or a thrift store, so I've got them that look like this. I've got them that look like this. I've got them that look like this. I've got purple pumpkins. I've got cream pumpkins. I've got pumpkins that are a little whiter. I have pumpkins like this, which are just paper mache pumpkins that are painted. I have little styrofoam pumpkins that I think came from the Dollar Tree last year. They were like $1. And then I have this one. So what you're going to do is a lot of times you'll have like a collection. I have a miscellaneous collection. But this is not my style at all, okay? This is totally not my style. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these pumpkins and we're going to add a little bit of dry brushing and a little bit of sponging to them and make them look more like pumpkins, like they just came out of the field or something. Get whatever brushes you're most comfortable using. Most of the time I use Dixie Belle brushes, but for this, a lot of times I am prone to using the chip brushes. Now tonight, one of the colors that we're going to use is one of the new Dixie Belle colors, Rusty Nail. And I don't know if you guys have seen the new colors, but they are the bomb diggity. I already have them up for pre-order on my site. So there they are. And we're going to start with that one. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to get these pumpkins to not look so bland. Because at this point, they have not really a lot of personality. Now, last year I did a lot of these pumpkins in blues because a lot of people requested blues. Sold every single one of them. So maybe you like pumpkins in blue. I'm more of a traditionalist. We're going to be using Rusty Nail because it's fabulous. But we're also going to be using some pine cone. And we are going to be using some terracotta and collard greens because what pumpkin doesn't have moss growing on it, right? So we're going to do that. And a lot of times I like to kind of go in these grooves because if you go in the grooves, it kind of it emphasizes the grooves of the pumpkin and it gives it a little bit more personality. So that's totally up to you as to which way you want to do it. But you can just dry brush this on there just a little bit. Keep baby wipes close at hand because these things are easy to wipe off if you go ahead and wipe it while your paint's still kind of wet. All right, so we kind of made this not so bland. Now we're going to go back over it with a little bit of our collard greens, which is a beautiful Dixie Belle color. So there's our collard greens, and you want just a little bit. So offload your brush a little bit, and we just want this pumpkin to look like it's really been laying in the field for a few days, you know? Not so pretty and clean and everything. And like I say, the amount that you choose to put on here is totally up to you. And a lot of them have these really gnarly stems, so they really make it very, very pretty. Now last year, a lot of them that I did with the metallics. So if you guys are so inclined and that's your style, why don't you think about doing the metallics? All right, while we do this, I wanted to ask you guys, have you heard about the Belle and Bow Tour? The Belle and Bow Tour has a stop here in Atlanta and has a stop in New Jersey. And we just announced who our guest is going to be here in Atlanta. Christina is flying back from Germany to be with us. So how great is that? So if you've got a chance, go ahead and make plans to attend. And have you heard who's going to be in New Jersey with us? Brandy is going to be in New Jersey. All right, so now you guys can see this little white pumpkin that looked so pristine when I started definitely has more of an old world feel, which is what I was going for. Now, like I say, it's super easy if you want to go with something different. All right, so now we've got one pumpkin done, and we've got this one. And you notice this one is starting out a really dark color. When they start out a really dark color, one of the first things that I like to do is give them a little bit of lightness. You know, just add a little bit here and there. And you just want to rub it in a little. You just want them to have, most pumpkins don't grow that dark, you know? So you just want to give them a little bit of something. A lot of times I'll put a little bit of green on the stems. But we're going to do a little bit of this, and then we're going to start putting this together because I don't think everybody realizes that a lot of times you can get some really cute florals and stuff at places like the Dollar Tree. Go get a few things at Hobby Lobby and kind of fill in from there. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of our green on here. And you guys don't forget what my apron says. All right, so now we've got our pumpkins a little bit dirty. You can see they're not quite so pristine, which was my goal. This one, see, it's kind of bright yellow and orange, so we definitely want to mute that sucker. You know, he's like screaming a little too loudly for me. So we're going to give him a little bit more of the collard greens to kind of say, whoa, buddy, take it down a notch. All right. So, have you guys seen the grandfather clock I'm working on this week? I almost painted that tonight, but I couldn't get all of my ducks in a row because if you've never painted a grandfather clock, it is a lot of taping. A lot of taping, a lot of taping, a lot of taping. And I didn't get all of it taped, so I couldn't spray it for you guys. But if you follow me on 44marketplace.com, you might just get to see it either tomorrow or the next day. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so depending on how long I have to stay there, you know. Sometimes doctor's offices like to keep you for a little while. Drives me a little bonkers, but what are you going to do? They frown on you getting up and leaving. I sure am going to love painting that clock. And did you guys hear what color I'm painting it? Midnight Sky. And you know what the top coat's going to be? Howdy Doody hemp oil. How about that? Because I want it to look nice and rich. So it's going to have Howdy Doody hemp oil as its top coat. And it's going to be fabulous. And we are actually changing the color of the hardware. And she has chosen a Modern Masters pewter. So it's definitely going to be different than it is now. I'm even changing the color of the pendulum as well as the hardware. So all of the hinges, everything like that has been taken off. The weights have been taken off. It is going to be something else when I get it finished. And she is super excited. She is one of my customers that does not live here at the lake full time. Okay, so now this is the little styrofoam pumpkins. I don't know if you guys saw these, but these are usually at the Dollar Tree, and they're $1, and they paint up so well. A lot of people don't think you can paint, but not only did I paint a bunch of these last year, I rusted a bunch of these last year. And a lot of people are fascinated when they see it. In fact, I left the bottom open so that you could see that it actually is a styrofoam pumpkin, because I wanted you to see that it is styrofoam. The Dixie Belle sticks to it. I know a lot of people feel like they need to use Boss and Slick Stick and everything else on every single piece to get their paint to go on smoothly or to make it stick. And I have to tell you, I've been with Dixie Belle since 2014, and I almost never, ever, ever use Boss or Slick Stick. They're problem solvers. And, I mean, when I started with Dixie Belle, we didn't have problem solvers. So you had to be your own problem solver. And typically, if I have something slick, I'll do a little bit of scuff sanding, and that's that, you know. Little scuff sanding with my Surf Prep sander, and boom, I am painting. And, you know, I kind of like that. And I do spray a lot of things, so maybe that's the difference. Now, I like to leave on my styrofoam pumpkins, I do leave the bottom open because I display these in my store. And I like for people to be able to see that this is just a cute little styrofoam pumpkin that I've added something to. Now, because this one is such a light color, I'm going to go back in with a lot of the terracotta because I really want this to have more of an orange undertone than it does. And you may choose something different. In fact, you may want the purple just to be purple. And if you want purple or plum or whatever, do what floats your boat. And I will go back over the little stem with my collard greens because it is super cute. Did you guys see my fireplaces I did? I had so much fun. I got to do a rock fireplace and a brick fireplace in the same week. That's just the way the schedule worked out, but I couldn't believe it happened the same week. All right, so now you can see that this is a little bit orange, and I'm going to go back in and we need to touch this little stem up. The stem doesn't need to be this color, so we're going to make our stem be nice and kind of green, and then we're going to put a little bit of our magic rust, our pine cone on it. just to make it not so much. And we're going to go back over the edges of our little thing. Now my base coat for this was sandbar because I did it for a customer last year because she wanted to see what it looked like when you just painted styrofoam. So I just painted it right there in front of her. And I haven't seen these at the Dollar Tree this year, but you might want to keep an eye out. And I know that sometimes you can order things from their website. So that's another thing. If you don't have a Dollar Tree that carries a lot of things, because I know I see things sometimes on YouTube that my Dollar Tree never has had. And we're going to go one more step because I think this needs some coffee bean. And you guys know, usually I put a little bit of coffee bean on everything. Oh yeah, see, that's much better. Yeah. And what you can do is, a lot of people don't realize, but like when I'm doing a finish on stone, coffee bean, if you just kind of drag it over the surface, it picks up every little indentation, every little raised area, and things like that. And it gives it definition. See how it gives it definition on this pumpkin? And it makes it look like you did a lot more work than you did just dragging a dry brush full of coffee bean over the top of it. So a lot of times if you're looking to give something definition, oh my gee, that's what you need to do. Just drag some coffee bean over the top of it. Because see, now this has 3 different colors. We did it that quickly, and I can tell you it's already pretty much dry. So we're going to do one more pumpkin, and then we're going to put together our centerpiece. I'm not going to touch the plum pumpkin because I have a friend who loves purple, and she would probably croak if I messed with that pumpkin. I tell you what, we haven't done one of these. This one is, I'm not really sure what color this is. It's kind of a pinky orange, but I'm not really a pink person, so we're going to change that. What are you guys working on today? Have you already started thinking pumpkins and cooler weather and hoodie sweatshirts? Oh my gee, I love me some hoodie sweatshirts. In fact, my favorite hoodie sweatshirt is my Belle and Bow sweatshirt. It is the softest, most comfy sweatshirt. I got to wear it when I was in New Jersey in June. And, you know, here in the South, you don't wear sweatshirts in June, ever. I mean, I guess if you're cold-natured, but I am super not cold-natured. I am hot-natured. In fact, I was just thinking how hot this room is. Okay, so we went over it with the pine cone. Now we're going to give it a little bit of our green. Because the collard greens just gives it a little bit more of a been out in the field look. And I grew up on a farm, so I love pumpkins that look like they just came out of the field. In fact, my favorite kind of pumpkins are these in real life, the ugly pumpkins. Oh my gosh, they are the cutest things in the world. Cute, cute, cute. Oh, speaking of cute, did you guys see the picture of the turtle that I took today taking a watermelon bath when I was walking my dogs? If you haven't seen it, you need to go to 44 Marketplace, because I got to tell you, that little turtle bathing in that little half of watermelon that somebody threw out on the side of the road was one of the cutest things I think I've seen in a long time. And he was just happy as a clam, bathing in his watermelon. I thought it was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. All right, so now we're going to add, if you know me, you know more is more. I like to add lots of color to my pumpkins. And just about anything I do, if it's for me, look at my barn door behind there. How many colors are on that, right? All right. So we're going to add just a little bit. All right. Okay. So there we go. All right. So now you can see, instead of it being so bland, it definitely has more personality. All right. Oh, it's over 100 there? Yeah, I got it. It is, you would think you lived in the South, right? I'm trying to get y'all to come down here. See if you can take that weather up there. You can move here, Molly. All right, so now we've got several pumpkins that we've kind of thrown together. We've got our bucket, which is completely dry, okay? Did you get your Bells and Bows shirt? Is that not the smoothest, sweetest, softest shirt ever? All right, so now I'm going to show you some other little pumpkins that I picked up. I picked up these little pumpkins. Look, they're little burlap pumpkins. I picked those up at the Dollar Tree because they are great as filler. And they're $1. So, you know, what are you going to say? And at my house, sometimes things get knocked in the floor, and once my dogs get a hold of them, there's no making it back. All right, so I brought several things for us to put in our basket, but we're going to start with our florals first. Now, some of these I picked up at yard sales, and some of them I had picked up at the Dollar Tree. And one thing, well, they want to be together. One thing, this one, I tore it apart, but I did pick it up at Hobby Lobby. The rest of them, I just picked up at, a lot of them I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And they have some really cute stems. I don't know if you've ever went in there and looked around, but they do have some really cute stems. And a lot of people don't even go in there and shop around. I love it. I got some of these that look kind of like weeds. That's what my husband said anyway. They are super cute, and they go great for my fall displays. So I like to grab those, and they have a lot of different colors. I got some with orange. I got some with yellows. And I like to just kind of lay them in the bottom. And, of course, you've got to have your obligatory leaves. And I will show you something else. I got the cutest little acorns. It's a little bag of acorns at the Dollar Tree. Are those not the cutest things? I love odd things, though. So this is part of one that I had. And it just has some, like, raffia on it. And I just thought it was too cute not to get. All right, so you want to kind of set a bed of florals down, and you can always add more later. I like things like this that have kind of that fall cattail kind of feeling because I grew up in the South. You know, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so then you want to start layering your pumpkins, and you kind of want your biggest ones on bottom, but they don't have to be. And then you want to kind of position your others, but you don't want your flowers to completely disappear. So while you're trying to organize this, you want to kind of make sure everything kind of sits together kind of thing. And I like lots of different oranges. Shoot, we could put our purple in here. All right, so now you see that we have our little bucket. But, let me show you. You can even get these cute little signs at the Dollar Tree. And that way you can have something in here that says something about family. You can put more florals in here because I have lots of different ones. You can add more pumpkins. You can add your cute little acorns. And I got to show you these things. They are precious. Look at these. They look like actual acorns. But that's the thing. You want to kind of make sure everything kind of melds together and it's situated. And I probably would put one more pumpkin. Let's see. Let's put our purple one up there. So see, now you've got a whole bucket of pumpkins. It's rusty. And most of this came either from the Dollar Tree or from the dollar store or from yard sales or whatever. Because I got to tell you, if you go by some of your thrift stores, they are just about giving away florals. I mean, florals, if you have to go buy them at some of the big box stores, they are flipping expensive. But if you will go buy some of these, the Goodwill or some of those places, I mean, they are so cheap. You can get a bunch of them. Now, they may not be the right season, but you might just have to hold on to them like I do. But you guys can see, and your bucket is beautiful from all the way around. And if you're so inclined, you can put, you can stencil pumpkins 25 cents on here. You can stencil anything that you want to on there. You can, like I say, they have some really cute little signs that say Happy Harvest, and you can prop that in there. But it makes for a great centerpiece. You don't have very much invested, and it's super easy. And you don't just have to put a basic pumpkin. Just throw some Dixie Belle paint on it, and it dries within seconds. So, I hope that everybody sees the way that I did it. I hope you've gotten your ticket to Bells and Bows. And I hope you follow me on 44marketplace.com because we are painting a grandfather clock and finishing up a kitchen this week. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Y'all have a great evening.